electric scooters have gone from being simple city gadgets to full-on transportation machines. And the Segway Ninebot MAX Series is one of the clearest examples of that evolution. The moment you step onto one of these scooters, especially the newer G2 or G3 models, you immediately realize this is not built like the cheap, lightweight scooters people casually leave in apartment hallways. This feels serious. The first thing most people notice is the build quality. Segway has been making electric mobility products for years, and the MAX Series carries that experience into almost every part of the design. The frame feels solid, the deck is spacious, and there's a sense of stability that instantly gives confidence even before you start riding. And once you do start moving, the power difference becomes obvious. Depending on the model, the scooter can reach speeds between 22 and 28 miles per hour, which is fast enough to completely change the way you think about commuting. Short car trips suddenly feel unnecessary. Parking becomes irrelevant. Traffic becomes less stressful. You start looking at local distances differently because the scooter turns everyday movement into something faster and honestly more fun. But speed alone is not what makes the MAX Series stand out. What really changes the experience is the comfort. Older electric scooters usually had one major problem: rough rides, small bumps, cracked roads, uneven sidewalks. Everything transferred directly into your legs and wrists. But the dual suspension system on the MAX Series changes that dramatically. Whether you're riding through city streets, rough pavement, or slightly uneven terrain, the suspension absorbs much of the impact and makes longer rides significantly more comfortable. And comfort matters more than people expect. Because once you start using an electric scooter daily, small annoyances become huge. A shaky ride becomes exhausting. Weak brakes become stressful. Poor range becomes limiting. Segway clearly designed the scooter around solving those long-term ownership frustrations. The braking system is another area where you feel the upgrade immediately. The scooter combines multiple braking technologies to create more controlled stopping power, especially at higher speeds. That extra sense of control becomes incredibly important when you're riding in real-world environments with pedestrians, intersections, or sudden obstacles. Then there's the range. Range anxiety is one of the biggest reasons people hesitate to buy electric scooters in the first place. Nobody wants to constantly think about battery percentage or wonder whether they'll make it home. The MAX Series is designed specifically to reduce that problem. Depending on the model and riding conditions, these scooters can handle impressively long distances on a single charge. Of course, real-world performance always depends on rider weight, terrain, speed, weather, and riding habits. But compared to many standard scooters, the MAX Series feels much more practical for actual commuting instead of short novelty rides. Fast charging also makes a huge difference in day-to-day use. Instead of planning your life around charging schedules, you can top the scooter up much more conveniently between rides. That flexibility becomes important if you're using it regularly for school, work, or errands. One thing people consistently appreciate about the MAX lineup is how stable it feels at speed. Some scooters become nervous or twitchy once you go faster, but the Ninebot MAX maintains a planted feeling that gives riders more confidence, especially beginners transitioning from smaller entry-level scooters. The wider tires also help with traction and shock absorption, improving the overall ride quality even further. Whether you're taking corners, braking suddenly, or cruising on slightly rough roads, the scooter feels controlled instead of unstable. Another underrated aspect is portability versus practicality. Yes, this is larger and heavier than ultra-compact commuter scooters, but that extra size is part of why it feels so much more durable and capable. You're trading extreme portability for a more mature riding experience. For many adults, that trade-off is absolutely worth it because the scooter feels closer to real transportation instead of a temporary gadget. And visually, it has that clean, industrial Segway design language that looks modern without trying too hard. It doesn't scream for attention, but it still looks premium and engineered. The UL 2272 and 2271 certifications are also important because safety has become a huge conversation in the electric scooter world. Certified systems provide more reassurance regarding battery and electrical safety standards, especially compared to unknown budget scooters flooding online marketplaces. So, who is this scooter really for? It's ideal for commuters, college students, city riders, and adults who want a reliable electric scooter that balances speed, comfort, range, and safety without feeling cheap or disposable. It's also a strong option for people upgrading from entry-level scooters because the jump in ride quality becomes noticeable almost immediately. Better suspension, stronger brakes, more stability, improved range. It all adds up to a far more refined experience. At the end of the day, the Segway Ninebot MAX Series succeeds because it understands what daily riders actually care about. Not just speed numbers or flashy specs, but comfort, dependability, safety, and practicality. And once you experience all those working together, it becomes very easy to understand why the MAX lineup has become one of the most talked about electric scooter series available today.